This one had weight, 3 sharp pounds, like it was trying to stake a claim. The kind that sinks into your gut before your brain can catch up, dragging with it every instinct you thought you'd left behind. And trust me, I know the difference. I spent 21 years in the Marine Corps. I've kicked in doors on 3 continents. I know what a knock means. I was in my chair when it happened, a worn recliner with a view of the door and a habit of staying still. My dog, Copper, a mutt with ears too big for his face, growled low from the hallway. That was the second alarm. The third? The silence right after. No neighbor calls your name, then waits like that. I got up slow, like I always do. No rush, no panic. Years of training will do that to you. Check the peephole. 3 guys, all dressed like they just came from some back alley boot camp. Black polos with HOA security stitched in crooked gold. Utility belts that looked like they'd been bought in bulk from a surplus store. Mirrored sunglasses, even though the sun had been down for an hour. I didn't recognize a single one of them. And I live out here for that exact reason. Now, for context, my place sits about 2 miles past the last gas station, surrounded by dry grass, one long gravel road, and a sky full of stars. I moved here to not have neighbors, to finally breathe without someone telling me what color to paint my mailbox or how tall my grass can grow. No HOA. That was the deal. It's on the damn deed. So when the tallest one stepped forward and barked, "Open up. This is the Homeowners Association. You're in violation of multiple ordinances," I didn't even blink. I crossed my arms and leaned against the frame. "I don't have an HOA," I said, voice steady, like I was just confirming a dinner reservation. There was a pause, just long enough to feel rehearsed. Then the tall guy leaned closer and said, low and mean, "Yeah, you do now." Something in the way he said it hit me sideways. This wasn't a mistake or some confused committee member. This was a threat, a shakedown wrapped in khaki and patchwork authority. And I've met men like that before. Men who think fear is a shortcut to control. Thing is, I don't scare easy. But before I could say another word, the door exploded. A battering ram, an honest-to-God metal battering ram, smashed through the frame, sent wood splinters flying across my foyer. The deadbolt sailed clean across the living room and landed under my bookshelf. Copper yelped and bolted upstairs. They didn't just break in, they breached. First guy in low, second guy covering high. Third guy holding the door. Tactical. Practiced. Too smooth for amateurs. But they didn't know what house they were entering. I was already seated when the first guy crossed the threshold, boot planting hard on my hardwood. I didn't flinch, didn't stand, just sat there, calm as Sunday afternoon, with my Barrett .50 resting across my lap like it belonged there, which it did. He froze. All the swagger drained out of him in a blink. His eyes locked on the barrel, big, black, heavy, and pointed straight at his chest. He hadn't just walked into a house. He'd walked into a fight he couldn't win. The second guy's hand moved toward his belt, maybe a taser, maybe a radio, maybe something worse. I didn't care. I just adjusted the rifle, not much. Just enough for them to understand that I wasn't bluffing. I said one word, soft, measured. "Don't." The third guy, still at the door, looked like he'd swallowed a brick. His throat bobbed twice. No one moved. Not a single breath between them. Finally, the guy in the middle stammered. We have the right to conduct searches." I tilted my head. "No," I said, half amused. "You really don't." He squared his jaw, tried to summon some sort of backbone. "We're within our rights," he muttered. I cut him off. "What rights? Fake patches and a battering ram don't make you law. You got badges? Warrants?" "Because I see a felony and 2 accomplices." They hesitated, and that's when I leaned forward, just slightly, the weight of the rifle shifting with me. You might scare folks in cul-de-sacs, but out here, you break into someone's home, you best hope they don't shoot first. Silence. Then the second guy, the nervous one, licked his lips. "You're not really gonna shoot us, are you?" I didn't blink. "You sure about that?" The pause after was longer this time. Heavy. thick with the kind of tension that makes your skin itch. And then I reached for my phone, slow, deliberate, one hand on the side table, never leaving the rifle. I'm calling the real cops. That finally broke the spell. You're making a mistake. The second guy barked, panic leaking through the cracks. You don't know who you're messing with. I looked up, smirked. No, it's you who doesn't know who you're messing with. They didn't know whether to bolt or beg. I could see it in their eyes, the gears turning, the bravado evaporating. Whatever plan they thought they had, it was crumbling fast. And I hadn't even needed to fire a shot. Blue and red lights lit up my broken entryway. Flashlights cut through the darkness like spears. I stayed still. No sudden movements. Just eased the Barrett to the side, barrel up, hands visible. The lead officer shouted, "This is the police. Hands where we can see them." The three men stiffened. The tall one tried to spin it. "This is all a misunderstanding. We're with the HOA, routine inspection." I couldn't help myself. You always bring a battering ram to check someone's mailbox? The officer didn't even respond to me. Just looked at the splintered frame, then back at the imposters. His voice was flat. "Turn around. Hands behind your back." The three hesitated. "Bad call." Read their rights, and marched out onto the gravel. The second one, the shaky one, tried to plead. "We were just doing our job." "You mean impersonating law enforcement, forced entry, and attempted extortion?" The cop shot back. "Because that's what I'm booking you for." I stood in the hallway, arms crossed, watching it all unfold like a poorly written stage play. The tall guy turned as they dragged him past me. "This isn't over," he hissed. I tilted my head, smiled faintly. "For you? Oh, it's very over." The officers stayed another 20 minutes, took statements, snapped photos, promised to send someone about the damage. I answered everything calm, clear, not a hint of nerves. They could tell. They didn't ask why I had the Barrett out. They knew. When the last cruiser rolled off into the night, I stood there for a moment, breathing in the cool air, letting the silence settle again like a blanket. Copper came down the stairs, sniffed the air, then flopped next to me like nothing had happened. I closed the remains of my door, did my best to wedge it shut, then went back to my chair, checked the rifle, reclined, exhaled. You know, peace isn't the absence of noise or neighbors, it's knowing you're not afraid. What would you have done if 3 fake enforcers kicked your door in pretending to be HOA? Would you stand your ground, or would you fold under the pressure? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because where I'm from, respect isn't demanded, it's earned.